Very good morning, my dear students, especially PU second year students and learning enthusiasts. Now I think you can understand why it has got delayed for roughly some half an hour. I wanted to do this in a particular way, but it has trespassed all my expectations and even imagination. When I wanted to do today's class and when I was given this topic, that is Japan and Brazil through a traveler's eye, I had some other plan in my head. But now you see entirely different what I have thought and what it has come. So allow me, this is all because of the grace of Lord Sharanavasveshwara. Because thoughts like this come to me only because of his blessings only. Without him, I don't think I can do this much. In fact, so the total credits, if you like this, they have to go to the lotus feet of Lord Sharanavasveshwara only. So with that, I thank him once again for breathing through me to deliver this particular lecture. So let us start. So now you see here Japan, written in Japanese. There are 3 scripts. In fact, I have chosen the most popular one here. It's not a big game, you can check even in Google, just as I did. The only thing is that you should get that idea. And as I said to you, the idea came to me thanks to Lord Sharanavasveshwara. So Japan, how to write the word Japan in Japanese language? Google it, immediately you will get 3 scripts. So which is the popular one? Because an easier one also. The first one looks like a ladder and second one looks like the rooftop. Okay, the rooftop of a house. So even you can find the word Nippon, that is the pronunciation. So this is Japan. In that script, there are 3 scripts but 1 language. And Brazil, this is the accepted spelling, but this is how they write. They speak. The official language of Brazil is none other than Portuguese. So in Portuguese language, this is the spelling. And you please note down this dot as well. That was not an accidentally kept one, this one. This is a deliberate one. Brazil. So they don't say Brazil like that. Brazil. It's Brazil. That's how they pronounce. So the pronunciation is something like Brazil. So Japan and Brazil through a traveler's eye. So I have to write here. It is just codified. So not 2 eyes. If you see the title, I'm sure I can show you here. It's very clearly written. If you can see in the camera, if you can see here, traveler's eye. It is not eyes, but it is none other than eye. So Japan and Brazil through a traveler's eye. So it means the writer is a traveler. You need to understand. You need to understand that the one who has spelled this particular text definitely must be a traveler. But he didn't travel as per the records that we can find in Google. In Google, we can find some records about the biography of this man, George MIKES. They pronounce it as MIKES, but the accepted American pronunciation or British pronunciation, both of them tally here. And it is none other than MIKES, not MIKES. Your children are not your children. On children poem, I remember. Because his father, George MIKES is this man. I tried my best to give you the sketch of this man. I'm not sure how far I am artistically correct. Anyway, whatever it is, I am able to draw only this much. My capacities are only this much. So now, I wish to tell you what Khalil Gibran actually told in that particular poem. Father was very much insisting his son to become a very great lawyer like him. His father was Albert MIKES. Albert MIKES was a very famous lawyer, and he was speaking even Hungarian. He got a lot of reputation within the societal circles as well. Still, somehow, the son was not inclined. I tell you, he holds a PhD. George Meeks holds a PhD, and that too from Budapest, University of Budapest, Hungary. That is the capital city. And despite holding that PhD, somehow he didn't settle with this so-called legal affairs and legal matters. He was entirely opposite to his father. His father's wish, I should say, was not fulfilled, because this man continued to be a lawyer only for 3 years in his life. After that, he came out of that, settled in London. First, he came to London as an immigrant, which he wrote. His experiences he recorded in a particular book called How to Become an Alien. That is the book written by him. How to Become an Alien. The first time when I looked at that, the word alien gave me the other sense only. Because even those people who do not belong to a specific region or land or a nation, when they go to, suppose I am here in India, I am a citizen. If I go to another country, let us say Canada, I become an alien. Automatically I become an alien. And you can see alien department of aliens. You can see. This idea it didn't strike me. What the idea that struck me was none other than aliens, means a person from another planet. That idea only I got, not this. So how to become an alien is the book in which we can find his experiences very clearly recorded as a. Not only that, he was born, in fact, birth in Hungary, okay, in 1912, and he married twice, and then children two, one boy, one girl, 2 children, and death. When I say brief biography, I think I should give you more, but I will give you other points after this. Death happened in 1987 when he was 75 years old in London. So this is how we can talk about him. Now I will give you a little bit more, which you should learn. Such a man. Why should I give some information? See, my dear children, even when I was dealing with Leo Tolstoy's two dear, I was giving you a detailed sketch about Leo Tolstoy. Similarly, this man, maybe I am interested towards the humorous. That could be the reason, or the moral side of life, rather than the sad side of life. Maybe that could be one of the reasons why I choose to I take that extra step to give information about these people. Maybe that could be the reason. But this man made, I should say that he must be the British counterpart of James Thurber or P.G. Wodehouse in America. In America, we have two giants, humorous giants, I should say, humor giants rather. One was none other than James Thurber, one who was able to even draw cartoons, and the second one was P.G. Wodehouse, P.G. Wodehouse. Read their novels, read their short stories. You will forget everything and keep on laughing. You will, and for days to come, you keep laughing by remembering those events. And that's how they wrote the novel. So American humorists are there, but British counterparts who could be, I would definitely suggest George Meeks. Of course, he has been introduced to us as a travelogue writer, but originally he was a British humorist. Not only that, I must tell you certain important things. As I said, he was an Hungarian born, okay. Hungarian born British Hungarian British citizen. Let me put it, or writer. Not only writer, he was also, okay, we have space, Hungarian writer, author also you can take if you want. He was a broadcaster working for the BBC. He was a journalist. In fact, he was working for two journals, London-based journals, but they cater to the necessities of Hungarians. So one is called Regel. Regel means morning. Another is, its spelling is a little bit tough for me. 8 Orai. Okay. 8 Orai Utsak. 8 Orai Utsak. 8 Orai Utsak. 8 Orai Utsak means 8 a.m. news. 8 o'clock news. 8 Orai Utsak means 8 o'clock news. Regular is morning. So he was a correspondent, a journalist for these two magazines, and he was a broadcaster for the BBC. More than 40 books he wrote. More than 40 books, I should say, not just 40. More than 40, greater than 40 books he wrote. Some of them can be downloaded very easily. Not only that, he also wrote some very few what is called political satires. That is another thing. Political satires. The political cabaret. That is a small society, a London-based society, established in 1932, and it was shut down due to some political pressures rather, in the year 1958 something. So he was a member, active member of that, the political cabaret. The political cabaret. He was an important person in that, but he wrote many political satires also. Not only that, he was a lawyer. That also you must remember. Okay, he was a lawyer. Very brief period only. He was a lawyer. Above that, he was a humorist. Okay. We have other points as well. So let me write here: a lawyer, an active lawyer for a few days. So apart from that, he was, I must say, a well-known humorist. A well-known humorist, I should say. Please remember that. So this is another important tangent of his life. So he was a well-known humorist. Always he considered, what he considered was, whatever he did should have some meaningful, essence. There should be some kind of meaningful essence. And that is how he wanted to be in his entire lifetime. And I should say also that he was very lucky to have the periods as well supporting him, because he made everyone laugh, not only his own enemies. There was pungent attack, but other people did not take it as pungent thing. In fact, you should see how many critics, CRITIQUE, critics he has written about many nations of the world, and you can see there is satire in all his works, but it is very friendly humor, I should say. Nobody feels very much unhappy about it. As if he is narrating what he has seen and how he felt. So, like that, his style itself matched his very ideas, and that's the reason why he became a very successful humorist. Until date, he has been remembered. So these two, editions of these two magazines, Regel and Editora Utsak, you can find on the net. In fact, I downloaded two of them and I started reading only his part. Both. This one also somewhere 1971 edition one, another is another. You can find them only his parts, not the entire magazine. PDF is available thanks to the magazines, because I should thank them also. Because if they didn't give us the opportunity to download, maybe this class wouldn't have been this much informative. So it is like that. Even the times also helped him. People were mild, moderate. Even for small things also nowadays people are reacting too much. So the same thing was absent at that time. So he was regarded. And of course, as I told you before, he's a PhD. He was in fact from Budapest University. That is another thing. Now let us focus on some of his works. Before I would take you to the next part of today's lesson. Some of his works, very famous works in fact, include, some of them are downloadable as well. How to be an alien. Look at the type. This is a very famous work. How to be an alien. Something like CISA, something like that. CISA, TSAH, something like that. A story about a cat, like that also he wrote. CISA, something like that. How to be an alien. This is how to be what is called very poor. How to be poor. That also he wrote. He wrote how to be poor. Another thing is how to unite nations. How to unite nations. Like that, how to series there are many. How to do that. How to be inimitable. That is another work written by him. How to be inimitable. Shakespeare and me and myself. If I am right, Shakespeare and myself. This is another work. How to be inimitable. Inimitable means you cannot compare him or her with any other person. So how to be inimitable. Then Shakespeare and myself. I remember these few. Shakespeare and myself. These are some of the works which can be purchased and read, and definitely they won't disappoint you. I'm sure you will roll with laughter, and they are very humorous. And the brighter side of life they actually present. And the present work, that is Japan and this Brazil, not Brazil, Brazil. So Japan and Brazil, this particular through a traveler's eye was not the title given by him. In fact, it has been taken from two books. There were two books from which they have this particular thing has been taken. The first one is what is called the Land of the Rising Yen. So that is the work name. First one is the Land of the Rising Yen. The land of the rising sun. Sun means Japan. He made it Japanese currency coming up here, yen. So the land of the rising yen is the first work, and the second work is none other than the how to be a tango. How to be a tango. If I am right, let me write it correctly. How to tango. How to tango. How to express yourself. So how to tango, the land of the rising sun, and how to tango are the works from which this particular excerpt has been taken by our PU board. I hope this much of introduction is enough for our kindly use this particular information in writing the 6 marks answer. That's why I give this information. He was 75 years old when he died. So here you have works. Okay, these are the works that he actually wrote in his lifetime of 75 years. And very productive man was he in that sense, literary sense. So he was able to write these many works for himself. And they were also published. Of course, several people came into his life and made his life really wonderful. And several people influenced. The time is not enough for me. Only 3 classes we have planned for this particular unit. So today I must be completing what is called the introductory part as we planned. Because tomorrow we must be talking about several other things, not just this thing. So I cannot spare more time than this here. Kindly excuse me. On some other planet, sorry, on some other time, on some other platform rather, I would definitely get that particular opportunity. In one way, what I said wrongly can be corrected. It is on a different planet. Planet is plane, where exactly your mind is focused. Where your mind is focused, that is called plane. So where your mind is focused and where your body is focused. So on a different platform, I would like to say, I would definitely take up this particular thing and give you. Now let me turn my attention and your attention as well to the second part of this lecture. Now, this particular work or the compendium suggests an important genre called travelogue. Now, travelogue is an important genre. Okay, let me use this space to write that word. The word is genre. G-E-N-R-E. Genre is a type of literature. It can be prose, it can be poetry, it can be anything. Okay, so the type that we are talking about here is, if it is a poem can be one genre. Okay, sonnet is one genre. Comedy is a genre. Tragedy is a genre. Tragi-comedy is a genre. Okay, ballad is a genre. Lyric is a genre. So all of them are the different types. They are known as by a single umbrella term, that is other than genre. So travelogue is a genre. Travelogue means something that is talking about one's travel, one's journey. Let me remind you whether it would be useful to you or not, at least Indo-English literature, right? The Indian English literature, rather, let me put it that way to give you an idea. Indian English literature started with a travelogue only. Muhammad, his name is Muhammad. Muhammad was called at that time Muhammad. The Travels of Muhammad. He was somewhere in the 18th century, end of the 18th century. There was an Indian traveler who was actually traveling all the way to England on a ship. So, what were his experiences in that travel during that journey? So, they were all recorded, and that was the first work in English when it comes to writers who attempted writing something or other in English. The Travels of Mahomet, Meahomet, the journey. Maybe like Gulliver Travels. These are the real travels, rather, the real experiences that particular writer, Mahomet, was a businessman, experienced. So he wrote everything in English. So incidentally, this travelogue has got some connection in that form as well. Let us go to the writer's description here about what is called. Somehow the artists here have ignored. They of course they were able to show very clearly none other than Japanese personalities. Two people, rather, they were bowing to each other. Okay, this is the symbol, but very good. It is correct, but half correct, I believe. It's not covering the total unit, I believe. Because this total unit is not just only about Japan, but it is also about Brazil. So both things, if there had been, it would have been a different story. Anyway, we will try to make it. So if it is not found there, at least we can do something to find here. In our lectures, we will try to represent that, or we will try to fill that gap so that it will be complete. After all, everyone aims at completion, nothing is small. So let us now turn our attention to the next important thing for which this very class is meant, and it is other than travelogue. Travel writing. Travelogue is nothing but travel writing. Let me write it here. Travel writing. In fact, I am a great lover of travel, on a personal level, what is called front. I am a very great lover of travels. I tell you one fact, what is there in SBR, I don't know. My mechanism of working in all my life, not more than 3 years I would be in one place. I don't know what is there in Sharana and in this institute. This is my 5th year. This is what is called something like a groundbreaking record. in my life. I never settled in one particular place. Somehow I want to see different places, explore them. Same thing I cannot do, or even if the topic is the same, I cannot do it in the same way. Thanks to these YouTube classes, I have the ample opportunity to say this. Okay, you want to listen to it. Okay, you refer to this what is called link. Listen to it again. If you want as many times as possible, you can listen to it. So this is a blessing in disguise for people like me. So personally speaking. So I like these travelogues, and whenever I visit a particular place, I too maintain a particular book like this. This is called a travelogue. This book. Travelogue is fundamentally a book. Okay. It's a book in which which records certain journeys. So what is a travelogue? Travelogue is a book. It is a book. Okay. Okay, let me take a little more space. These lines can wait. Okay. So what is a travelogue? Travelogue is, we have to write some points here. Travelogue is what is say? It's a record. It's a record of personal experiences, a record of journeys or travels, a record of one's travels or journeys. Journeys would be a better way. Journeys. The book that, what you see here is a pragmatic representation of my own travelogue, which I wrote long time ago. You won't see these diagrams as I wrote there, but this diagram was akin to that. Okay, this diagram which you see here, you can find here also in my travelogue which I wrote. In fact, after showing some of my travelogues to students, they too started doing these things, which really gave me the impetus to teach in a better way. My children teach me several things. So here also, there is an instance wherein you can find a similar kind of a thing coming. So travelogues are not only they actually give you day-to-day events or day-to-day what are called recording of your things, but also make you understand the psyche of that particular person and the place that he or she has visited. How the people are, what is their culture, what do they give importance to? Okay, is it good? Can we emulate them? Can we actually follow those things? Is it good for us to follow if we do those things? So these are some of the things which we can definitely get into touch once we read travelogues. Devarkar sir says, please read autobiographies and biographies. I cannot forget these people's names. You might have observed me taking the names of Professor Subbarao, Master E.K. and Devarkar sir in my classes. They have become an indispensable parts of my lectures. So they come. So Devarkar sir always insists that we should be reading more about what is called autobiographies and biographies, so that we can definitely know the people as well as the times, and we can definitely get influence. He's right. He's very right when he said those statements. But adding to that, not only the the biographies and autobiographies. In addition to autobiographies and biographies, it would also be very much benefiting us if we happen to read none other than travelogues. Because in a very humorous way, in a very subtle manner, in a very cryptic manner, in a very indirect way, they influence us. At least they will give us the impetus to visit those places. Calcutta, or Kolkata rather, has been my dream town. That's what I wrote. Kolkata is one of my dream cities. I wanted to visit that city, and thank God I was able to visit. I don't know. Kadicharan Market was the name that was actually told to me at that time, by which I was influenced. And I wanted to go there and see that Kadicharan Market, how it would be, with so many books of great writers. That particular place is its main business would be what is called books only, I was told, and I was really taken aback how it would be. The descriptions and all made me really visit that place once and also see those books. Very recently, I should say, in the year 2016, when we had in Sita Institute of Technology and Management in Assam, that is Guwahati, we had to go via Kolkata. So at that time, I happened to see this, and of course, the trams and all, the underground trains, the metros, all these things. By the way, Kolkata has the oldest metro in our country. So, in order to give an example of it, how a travelogue would be, I have chosen this book. So, basically, a travelogue is a record. It's a book. So, when I said record, basically it's a book. You can understand that. Every travelogue is a book, basically. It's a record book or record of one's journeys. You go there, you see, you experience certain things, and you draw. I always find it much better if you draw these places, because generations to come, whoever would visit this place definitely will remember your drawings as well and how correctly I have drawn like that. Please remember, my dear students, one of my painting teachers, I should say, Mr. Yusuf, who taught me painting when I was a small kid of, let us say, 10, 11 years old. So I don't remember the age, maybe sixth class, 7th class at that time. He asked, I was interested in drawing and all. So at that time, I was doing all these sketches in my own way. My favorite was houses. And then he looked at and he started teaching me. And you see what is there on the board now. It's only because of his Subhiksha. That is his greatness only. Now, if Yusuf sir is anywhere and he sees his student is performing like this, then he must be very happy. So I owe this also to that great man, without whom there are several people in my life who created me in this way. So now you see here, Kolkata, I went there, I saw, and this is how I wrote my travel. I admit I didn't write it in English because I didn't know this much of English at that time. So my natural way of writing was in Telugu. I come from Telugu land. So I wrote in Telugu. The script was in Telugu, but the figures were as they are. The train was not maybe this sophisticated at that time, but it still looked like a train or a tram. Here I wrote a tram. Rather, I do a tram here. Maybe it was not that much sophisticated. I don't call it even now sophisticated. It could be rugged as well. There can be a number of my students who can really draw better than I. So it is like, it is not just drawing, but it is also your presence. In that particular drawing, you can relive whenever you look at what is the significance of these drawings are here. Why should we draw these pictures? Because even without drawings also, we can still manage the what is called the job. Why do we need this? You may ask me. Yes, well said. There is no need of a real drawing, but to relive the experience. Why, my dear students? You see, there is text on the left hand side and the figure on the right hand side. Okay, of course you have a compensating figure here as well, none other than George Meeks coming up this side. Still, your focus will be on the picture. Obviously, it is not on what I wrote. I gave you a lot of information about, for example, here we have works. Okay, WORK. Yes, we have works here. Many works he has written. I have listed. Still, your attention is definitely on the what is called the figure rather than the text. So obviously, so to relive the same experience, I always recommend you to have what is called a figure of some sum. So that this is a gram. The moment you look at what comes to your mind when you say Kolkata. When you say Kolkata, of course, it is none other than the tram, obviously. And another important thing is this I. Okay, why did he say I? Dinana sir was asking me this. Why did he say I, sir? Why can't it be ice? He was asking me. What I heard at that time, I couldn't answer. Because I was thinking, now the answer is coming to me. I feel that this could be the reason why the writer actually chose the singular word there, I. Because this is not a complete opinion of all the people in the world. This is a biased information given to us, and when it is seen only from his eye. It could be one reason, or eye can be what is called a metaphorical representation of the word opinion. Even in opinion, if you say there are two eyes, if you say opinion, so this is one eye, okay, this is another eye. So you have two eyes here, even in opinion also. So maybe in that way, I could be what is called used in the sense of what is called opinion. This is what my conjecture, my idea of that reality only. George Meeks, if he comes alive, could be telling us. I don't know more than that. So what is coming to me, I am voicing. Because he asked me while I was doing this drawing and all. He asked me. I said, I didn't answer him immediately. I kept thinking, really, this is a good question. What could be the reason? Why can't it be eyes? Why could it be only eye? Maybe because it is biased in one way. Whether good or bad, it is biased. It is not a complete picture. So if you see with two eyes, even when you see two eyes also, sometimes we are wrong. Rajju Sarpa Nyayam we say. Right? We are walking and all of a sudden power, there is a power cut. India it is. When power goes, we don't know. So switched off, lights gone. And there is only a Rajju. Rajju is what is called rope. But when you put your foot on it, you feel that it is a snake. It is not a snake. You have two eyes. With two eyes you saw, but you didn't see it completely. You didn't see what you must see. So these things are also there. So maybe that is the reason, Dhirana sir, if you are watching the video, maybe this is the maximum answer I can give you, sir, at this point. If some other thoughts definitely come to me, I will compound them and bring it to your notice as well. Anyway, thank you, sir, for giving that particular perspective, because that is also important. What to think is also important. So that is one view about the Traveller's Eye by George Meeks. So Traveller is a record book of one's journeys you have seen. Now what is the additional information which you can get? Sometimes it can have text, only text, sometimes you can have only pictures, sometimes pictures and text. So the popular format, let me put it that way. The popular format is what is called text with pictures. Let me put it that way, then we go to the text. Text with pictures. Text with pictures. So there will be text like this. There will also be some pictures here and there. In tomorrow's class, you are going to see several things about Japan. What is Japan? And you are going to learn many things on the same board. I will try to accommodate all those things. Of course, this picture is not going to come tomorrow because this is part 1. So this is part 1. Wherein you are going to see something in relation with the writer and also about travelogues. That's what I really aim in today's class to give. So let us read out these two paragraphs. Let me read them. My dear children, one more time I am telling you. Because this is a YouTube session, you can watch my class as many times as you wish, whenever you want. That particular facility is there. But this facility can be better used if you have the text in front of you. As you can see here, I am not using any paper book here. Okay, this is not any paper one. Paper book I am not using. This is a PDF which I have in front of me, which I am reading and I am telling you. So when I can do it on my tab, on my what is called laptop, you can also do it. You can also do it on your mobile. I know it hurts a little to see into the mobile where the text is being read, I know. But if you have the opportunity to have in front of you a laptop or a personal computer, please make use of it. Have the text in front of you. If nothing is there, print these how many pages. We don't want any pictures to be printed. So from page number 97 up to some 4 pages. Page number 97 to 100. Only 4 pages. 97, 98, 99, 100. It hardly takes 2 rupees to print. 4 pages. So I always recommend you to have the text in front of you, no matter which format. It could be paper, it could be electronic. Whatever it is, I recommend you to have the text, because you should know what I am reading is in conjunction with what you should learn. That should be there. Otherwise, the very session will become or will lead to futile results. Results will be very much useless and they become very redundant as well. So, a note on travel writing. Let us start with that. Travel writing is about writing one's experiences of traveling and visiting alien places. That is what I said. Alien places, places which are not familiar to us. Alien. In fact, you see here, first book I said how to be an alien. That is a person who is not familiar with our land, who is not familiar to us, is other than an alien. He doesn't come or belong to the same land. Okay, that is what is alien. So it's what is called, as I said to you, about recording one's experiences during the journeys or travels. As a genre of writing, it is as old as 2nd century, when travelers to Greece recorded their experiences in the form of a diary. So Greek travelers, as old as what is called, we will take only the information given in the textbook and not anything else. So something like beginning, okay, Greek travelers. Greek travelers were using or were recording rather, were recording their experiences. So the Greek travelers from 2nd century AD, recorded their travel experiences in their diaries. In their diaries. Look at that. So they were all recording all those things in their diaries. Please take care of that spelling of diaries. DAI is different, DIA is different. DIARY, diary, means day-to-day events, what happens we write, or what is, that is not the correct way. Some people say if you are recording day-to-day events, then it is a diary. I don't think. Even I do write it down, diary. Here what happens is whenever good thoughts come to me, I have an orange book, especially there is no such book as orange book. The orange cover I just had on it. So whenever good thoughts come to me, or thoughts which I think should be useful to me as well as should be remembered by me for a long time, I immediately write in that particular book. Not day to day, I drank coffee early in the morning at 7 o'clock. After my prayer, then I had some breakfast. This is nonsense. Or some fellow called me an idiot. So I don't know what kind of people are we. Two people, they call themselves very close friends. Open friends or close friends are only God knows. Anyway, these people call we are very close. One day A calls B, you donkey, get away. Then B becomes very much upset. He cries like anything. A called me donkey, A called me donkey, A called me donkey. He is not at all listening to him, not even talking. They live in the same room, still they cannot. The fellow is not at all talking. C comes and asks, what happened? B, why are you so upset? No, A called me donkey. Are you are close friends? What to do? That idiot called me donkey. What can I do? Then D comes, E comes, F comes, J comes. All 100 fellows they come. And they all ask this B, what happened? Why are you like that? Say A called me donkey. 100. That fellow called A called B donkey only once. But B told all 100 fellows 100 times he called himself donkey. Definitely he must be a donkey only. I don't know what kind of psychology we have, how we suffer like anything. If one fellow called us one thing, he is calling himself like that, why can't we take that logic and go on? You understand this logic and life will be very super fine. The smile on your face will not go away. If the other fellow is angry also, you just don't irritate him. Say that you have some other work and go. Give the relevant answer without any emotion. Emotion, commotion, this is the emotion and commotion will reduce promotion and give you demotion. So please be very cautious. So we must be very careful with all these things. So I don't know from where to where we went. We are talking about diaries. So diaries are not these day-to-day occurrences. That fellow called me idiot, this fellow called me donkey, another fellow called me monkey. So you are not key to yourself. You are the key in the hand of a don, then you are the key in the hand of a man. What is this nonsense? So don't go in that way. See how these people inspire us to tell so many things. Okay, so diaries Greeks were actually writing. With the invention of new techniques of navigation and sea voyages during the 9th and 10th centuries, travel writing became popular as more number of people began to explore new places on the globe. So two important reasons are there. One is other than invention of navigation, techniques of navigation, and the invention of new techniques of navigation and sea voyages. One is what is called increase in the number of sea voyages or voyages. Why again sea? Voyages are usually sea only. Second one, important one is none other than improvement of technology or use of technology in navigation. Okay, improvement of navigational technology. Let me put it that way. Navigational technology. My dear students, anyway it has come like this, I am telling you. Please remember, some time ago, my teacher, Professor Subbarao, Professor Subbarao was a wonderful man. I tell you, without him, I cannot even voice. He said, all adjectives are waste one day, he said, while he was teaching. I still remember that class. I was against him. Why? This is my nature. If someone says something, I'll counter it and make it correct also. Other fellows should be able to understand it, and he opined. Another great event that I remember is with previous class. I think I told you it is with reference to what is called superlative. Some words or some adjectives don't have gradation. They cannot be graded, like honesty, perfection. You cannot grade them. Perfect is ungradable. One small mistake also, it is not perfect. So it is like that was one class. Second class is this. He said all adjectives and adverbs, even without them also you can write sentences. Then I said, yes, you can write sentences, but in order to what is called encapsulate the thoughts. If you want to capsule thoughts, many thoughts, and you want to put it in a single capsule, adjectives are very essential. For example, take this very what is called line itself. Improvement of navigational technology. You have got some four words. Four words. You have got some four words here. Improvement of navigational technology. But if you put it in the form of a sentence, there was an improvement of what is called technological aspects of navigation. It will be roundabout. So adjectives really are handy when it comes to what is called narrowing the what is called sentence structure or phrasal structure. The narrowing of phrasal structure will definitely be made possible and made easy as well when we have. Then sir said, we should be able to know what exactly are the real uses of these parts of speech. Simply, we are using, why adjectives are there, we don't know. Only to praise somebody or denigrate somebody, no. Not to praise her. You call me very intelligent, I am very happy. You call me number one stupid fellow, I am sad. For this purpose, do you think adjectives and adverbs are gone? They have other duty. On some other platform or planet, I will definitely tell you that point also. So increase in the number of voyages and improvement of navigational technology, they have led to what is called popularity of travelogues. What is the result? They have led to popularity of travelogues. People started writing more and more travelogues. So because more people started visiting these places, they too were more interested in these things and they started writing travelogues. So that is another important reason. Soon such a trip started getting royal patronage. Royal patronage, even they got the support. Patronage is something so like support from the kings. Royal patronage means support from the kings and of course their financial assistance also. New adventures and voyages were even commissioned. Don't you know that it is the Maharaja of Mysore who actually sponsored the Vivekananda's trip, rather sponsored Vivekananda's trip all the way to America. It was he who sponsored. Now you see, so this is called royal patronage. So you will get that particular, that later he went all the way to America and what happened is history. You know that, I need not expostulate on that. So it is like that. This is called royal patronage. King starts supporting you. Thus travel writing ceased to be just a description of a new place born out of curiosity and gain political overtones. So now travelogues have taken a new shape. They are no longer simply writings of certain writers who visited alien places. No, they had some political purposes also. So these are the secret documents recorded by travelers come, but they don't just travel. They also do some kind of espionage. They collect information about the kingdom very secretly, like a spy, like a secret agent. So that is the political color the travelogues have taken. So travelogues have received both. So travelogues received both. What are they? First one is received royal patronage. This is the first one. Okay. The second point is they also received none other than political hue or political importance. So they became political importance or political documents. You can also say like that. They became political documents as well. So they started even doing this. That is later what is called result. Then now, even after much of the earth has been explored and almost every piece on this earth has been written about, its popularity has not waned. Waned means reduced. Waxed means increased. Waned means reduced. It has not been waned. Okay. I'm not seeing this. Okay. Waned, as can be seen by the immense viewership it has on modern media like the television and internet. So even now, if there is a particular program on television which actually records or presents a program on certain places on the earth. For example, you go to Rio de Janeiro, of course, we are in Brazil. And so Rio de Janeiro, how popular it is, and the tomato festival, okay, that nations hold in Europe, and also various carnivals which are organized by different countries in Europe or even America or even South America for that matter. Culturally, you can find many different what are called occasions. And all these things, when they visualize, when they record, when they videograph and present with able narration, obviously we are pinned to the television screens and we become one with that particular program. For example, underground, what is called a marine museum, rather they say. Underground. So marine museum, they constructed underground inside water. And you are aliens, not the sharks and other things. Okay, very thick glasses are covered. You are walking through those glass pipes, tubes, gigantic tubes, I should say. So you are watching them. They come and go. Turtles, then sharks and whales sometimes. And you are really surprised at them. So when such programs are shown, obviously we are stunned at them. So that's why there is an increase in the popularity of these what are called travelogues. That's what I meant to say. So travel writing has come under serious scholastic study in the past 50 years. Now, this is another tangent, just like literature. So it has become now a very popular form of regular literature only. like drama, like what you say, poetry, okay, like novel. There are many researches going on in these areas. Something how a particular writer creates a particular imaginary world. Many researches have been made on such dreamy towns, imaginary towns like the Malgudi that is actually been created by RK. Our own RK created a dream town, Malgudi, and there are many researches going on. Why and how and where. So all these things they have been researched, and so even travelogues have also been taken up as a major area of research. So that is what you need to remember. So travelogues have become major study. Okay, major a major area of study and research nowadays, and research. And this has been for the past 50 years. That's what we need to remember. That's what the writer says there. So research, it has been for the past 50 years. It has taken a different level of importance, I must say. Travel writing is no longer, not only that, and has become a part of cultural studies program in many universities. So if you want to know the culture and the tradition of a particular nation or a place for that matter, you can refer to a traveler. For example, someone comes to Kalaburgi and visits some places like our own Gudi and the fort behind that, and some of the areas here itself, there are some mosques here and there, and then tombs here and there. They try to dig out that history, and then some holy places. All these places they visit, they sketch, and also they write about it. So indirectly, although they are recording their personal experiences or their personal narration of what exactly they witnessed, or even personal recording of what they collected as information, whatever it is, the final product when you see, you are learning about the tradition, culture, all these things, religious aspects, how you can bind yourself with those people. That is that link, at least on the imaginary plane, you can establish. So that is one big advantage of what is called travelogue. So that is what cultural study. You can understand. Okay, what is the next one? Understand what? Culture and tradition, culture and tradition of a place. So you can very clearly understand the culture and the tradition of a particular place. That is one technical advantage you can have whenever you are visiting a particular, not just visiting, whenever you are recording your own experiences. Recently, I was overwhelmed with some of the videos which I was watching on the YouTube about Kailas Manas Sarovar. It seems in the 9th century AD there was one particular saint who was able to climb that particular, what is called that very Mahalingam, we should say. And he was able to climb the hill, and later on he came and recorded certain things. That is the only living record of it. You cannot, nobody can dare to climb that. Like that only he starts. You go through that particular video, you type about Manas Kailash, Manas Sarovar Yatra. Nobody can climb that Mount Kailash. Please don't do it like that. It is full of what is called risk to your life. And those people who attempted never returned. That even that record is also there. So why has it become so? You keep aside this religious aspect. Even then, scientifically also it is unclimbable. Why? The climate is like that. It is shifting very quickly. Why? What happens? Many people have tried, even in this century, with all their technological gadgets, but still it is the divinity rather of that particular place which has its thumb above all these so-called scientific regulations. That's how I could see. But see that traveler, that's what I wish to inform you. So we are able to know about that culture, the tradition, the religious importance of that particular place. That is what is one immediate advantage you will have with reference to what is called travelogue. This is another thing. Then finally, travel writing is no longer used as a product of some innocent curiosity or an attempt to understand an alien culture objectively. Do not think that it is an objective recording of some personal experiences about culture and all reactions of an individual towards a particular culture. No longer should you view about these travelers that those days have gone. Rather, these narratives are telling comments. They are telling comments. Telling is used. Telling comments. It's an adjective there. It's not a verb. They are not telling. Don't go in that way. It's not V4. It is what is called an adjective. These narratives are telling comments on how a culture gets represented by another, and in the process subtly uphold some cultural values as somehow superior and universal than others. So other than the people who are the natives, how one culture is different from the others, how aliens to a particular culture can view. That is what is called opinion. Author's opinion, okay? Different author's opinion, different authors' opinions or views about one culture, about a place. That is what is very, very important aspect of what is called writing a particular travelogue. So travelogue is not just a simple book which can have some text and some diagrams initially, as you have seen. Okay, in the thumbnail, you have seen that only one picture and the title, biography, something like that. Here and there, some words you have seen. But travelogue is not just that. I think now you are able to understand the real utility of what is called travelogues. How travelogues actually are very intricate documents representing an entire culture and also the psyche that is prevalent in that particular culture. So that is how we must actually see travelogue. Once again, we thank George MIKES, especially for giving us this particular text, because had he not meant, we wouldn't have got this. So first, thanks to them. Second is to our PU board for giving us the opportunity to study travelogues as well, and especially for the note they provided at the beginning about the genre. About no other genre they provided. About drama they didn't. About novel they didn't. About, of course, we don't have novel, at least short story, whatever we have, but they didn't. About an interview they didn't. Directly the interview is printed. But only about a travelogue, even for newspaper article, they didn't. The next prose unit you can find, that is what is called Where There Is a Will. That's a particular newspaper article written by P. Sainath or Sairam, someone. So sorry for that if I am telling that name wrongly. So Sairam or Sainath, that man, he wrote it, but there is no introduction to how to read or what exactly is a newspaper article. Nothing was given. It is left over. It is still pending, I believe, or it has been given or laid on the shoulders of the very teacher himself or herself. But anyway, I thank you, the PU board, for giving us an impetus for that. Because if they didn't provide us that opportunity to talk about travelogues in the first part of that particular essay, I wouldn't have even drawn this entire thing and given importance to that. Maybe like you can find many videos in YouTube about this particular unit. They straight away go into the topic as it is without giving much importance to these machines. I think I have filled. Thanks to Lord Sharnavasvishwara once again. I shouldn't have said that. I think this lecture must have filled that particular gap. This lecture must have filled that particular gap. And thanks to the benign blessings of Lord Sharnavasvishwara. Okay, thank you, students. I will end my session here. As usual, this is the time for you to take a screenshot, preserve it. I am sure you love this particular screenshot, and keep it for yourself and refer to it as many times as possible. I also feel very happy if you write your notes in this way. This is what I always want my students to do. No need to write everything. See, I have given you introduction to the writer, and also I have given you something about, I have talked to you something about travel writing, travelogue as well. But how we recorded the most important key terms or key terms we call, only those things appear there. Remaining things are not essential. So some other time I would definitely talk about how to record these things in the form of notes. Thank you very much, my dear students and everyone, for listening to this particular lecture. As usual, have a nice time, enjoy yourself, but take all precautions whenever you are coming out, and especially take care of the elderly people who are in our houses. Thank you very much. Yes.